will drastically reduce government services, but some progressive lawmakers are insistent on increasing benefits, not cutting them. So, heading into a summer of spending fights, the House Republicans are planning to use the same strategy that proved successful in raising the debt ceiling. Their approach will be put a test to a second time in Congress, under pressure to pass funding legislation amid a government shutdown in the fall. Kevin McCarthy met with a group of lawmakers that included conservative hardliners, and the lawmakers are making way for spending decisions and allies who hope negotiate deals to raise the debt ceiling. Now, this month, Republican Representative Matt Gaetz and other lawmakers blocked a bill on the House floor to a week-long standstill, making clear that they are prepared to not pass a bill unless Kevin McCarthy accepts to the demand that funding the return to last year's spending level will happen. The hardball tactics appear to be paying off, and top appropriators, who typically don't like the colleagues meddling with the puree of House of Strings, said shortly after a standoff that they support a 2-12 annual appropriations bill at funding levels. That's lower than the Biden-McCarthy deal. And Rules Committee Chairman Tom Cole said that after the meeting with Kevin McCarthy, we should get the best spending deal we can get, and I regarded that ceiling as a ceiling, not as a floor. The idea was echoed by Representative Garrett Graves, one of the key people that Kevin McCarthy appointed to negotiate that ceiling deal. Even conservatives pushed to cut spending below the spell levels, everybody, and is putting the House and Senate on a collision course, just months before the lawmakers need to fully address the situation. Now, Senate Appropriations this week said they plan to stick to the levels negotiated by Kevin McCarthy and Biden. McCarthy's strategy appears to mimic his approach during the debt ceiling fight, that is a draft bill with the input of the entire GOP conference as a base for negotiating before considering any bill that will require Democratic support. But most conservative Democrats and even Republicans are agitating for steep cuts that Democrats argue will drastically reduce or hinder government services. 5 of the 8 appropriation bills that have been released by the House were written to spend less than 2022 fiscal year. But even Senate Republicans are skeptical of the path their House counterparts are taking. For instance, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren led a group of lawmakers in unveiling a bill that would increase Social Security benefits by at least $200 a month and prolong the period for solvency for decades. It would help by requiring wealthy Americans to pay their fair share. But currently, the annual earnings above $160,000 are not subject to Social Security payroll tax, which means that millionaires will stop contributing to the program later this month. So, in 2021, that's for people 6 to 17 years old, and half of their credit was given in advance. Plus in monthly payments to the families to help others throughout the year, and the other half was given as part of a household's tax refund. The household with pretty much no or low income was able to receive it for the first time. And though it can take years for the policy to have the tangible effects, the impact of the credit was pretty much very noticeable very fast. And so I believe it's pretty much right for Joe Biden to send out another one. Don't you guys agree? Parents reported using the advance payments for household essentials like groceries, clothing, schools, and utilities. And despite worries from conservatives, researchers found no evidence that the policy discouraged people from going back to work. Instead, it probably motivated people to get back to work. The Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, everybody, said the success of the 2021 expansion showed us that child poverty rates are a policy choice, not inevitable. And Congress failed to renew the expansion in 2021, reverting the credit back to its former, less generous iteration. It's one of the reasons that families could see smaller tax refunds this year when they file their returns, because some tax credits have already implemented their own version of a child tax credit last year to make up for the difference. Still, without this expansion, everybody, millions of people fell back into poverty at the beginning of last year. It made many people broke, and it hurt so many households. But folks, here's a solution to this. One of the biggest sticking points is whether or not the expanded child tax credit has a work requirement attached to it. Because if it does, that could be beneficial to the ones that need it the most, and the ones that need stimulus fast. Opponents believe there should be some sort of work requirement, but everybody, here's what I'm saying about this. A ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, a ton of news about stimulus payments, a ton of news is here for you on stimulus checks. Joe Biden can do something about this. First of all, let's get into the most important news. It's that Social Security benefits, no matter what, play a major role for your retirement and for the older Americans especially. Now, there could be big changes on the horizon. Social Security is facing a shortfall. A shortfall that could be catastrophic, that is. The program is paying out more in benefits than it's receiving from taxes. If lawmakers don't find a solution soon, things could get nasty. There are several proposals on the table. Social Security benefits are funded primarily through payroll taxes. Workers pay into the program now, and the most of the money is paid out to the retirees. So let's not forget about that right now, though. These taxes are not even enough to pay out benefits in full. Just to cover Social Security, it has been dipping into its trust funds.
We'll have to start thinking about, at least, the looming debt limit deadline. Democrats' message: political brinksmanship could drive up costs for ordinary households. A recent analysis by the center-left think tank Third Way estimated that an actual default could result in the loss of 3 million jobs, a $20,000 drop in the average retirement savings, and a $130,000 increase in the cost of a mortgage. And Republicans argue this is all fear-mongering. House Budget Committee Chairman Jody Arrington tweeted, "Democrats and Republicans must seize this opportunity to rein in unsustainable spending and reorient the nation's fiscal trajectory before it is too late." Now, top Senate Republican Mitch McConnell was confident yesterday that the country would not face a financial crisis.
In the end, I think the important thing to remember is that America must never default on its debt. It never has and never will. But we'll end up in some kind of negotiation with the administration over what.
So both Democratic and Republican lawmakers, everybody, are negotiating on Americans receiving universal basic
stimulus check, which he decided to donate to the food bank. He created this fundraising page on the organization's website.
I know there are other people out there that got this money that they realize they don't really need to survive, that might be willing to do something similar.
Hatcher is.
I've not met a cop who likes a bad cop. There's bad in everything. There's lousy senators, there's lousy presidents, there's lousy doctors, there's lousy lawyers. No, I'm serious. But I don't know any police officer that feels good about the fact that there may be a lousy cop. I'm tired of not giving the kind of help they need. Folks, look.
Now, some of you guys may not automatically, some of you guys may not automatically get your fourth check. There are also huge changes to monthly benefits that may be coming next month. New delivery dates have been confirmed by state officials, and here is your daily update for your fourth stimulus check. A nationwide outage was reported with the SNAP program, leaving more than 1 million people without the ability to use their benefit transfer cards to make payments at retail stores. Agencies in Massachusetts and South Carolina reported on Sunday that customers are unable to make purchases with their electronic benefit transfer cards. The South Carolina Department of Social Services wrote in a Twitter post that it is aware of processing issues of electronic benefit transfer cards due to a third-party processor outage impacting programs in multiple states. The department later tweeted out that all the systems were restored, resolving the processing issues. The Massachusetts Department of Transitional Assistance also said in a Twitter post that electronic benefit transfer card processing in the state was affected, but later said that the issue was resolved. Several U.S. states